Hello everyone, my name is Aytuğ. I'm a vice president at Skyloft. First of all, let me thank Hyper Games Conference for the invitation and for the opportunity. It is a pleasure for me and for Skyloft to talk at this amazing conference for mobile games and how it is evolving. Just let's start with the first time user experience. When we are designing a game, we always think that our grandparents will play this game, and we have to make the game clear for them. We have to avoid using too much text, but I think this isn't a valid statement for the Chinese market. We made some A/B tests there, and Chinese players are looking for text explanations or maybe a deep story. But for the rest of the world, it's a good practice to avoid using too much text. We have to keep everything simple as it is possible, and we should avoid using pop-ups, or even pop-ups that include MP4 or GIFs to teach the game or a mechanic. Don't let your users to figure out things themselves. Teach them and show them how it is done. And if your game has a meta screen and the and if the user is playing for the first time, skip it. Let your users play the game first and win it. Then it will be a better practice to send them to a meta screen. Now, let's talk about the mechanic. For me, this is the most crucial part of a game. The feeling is the key. We should feel the controls are working without a delay or flicker. I've added two samples here. Let's take a look at the first one. We can see that controls are responding a bit late than they should be. And I'm moving my finger to the left, but the character is still going to the right. It isn't responding immediately. The second sample is much clearer. The second sample is much clearer. The character is following my finger without delay, and we can see that our character is accelerating and decelerating with my finger moves. We have to stay away from tedious controls, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to find a unique controller. Users are familiar with the standard hyper-casual controls. We can use them. And also, don't forget to use haptics, but don't paint the lily. Ad networks and ad chains are both an important part of programmatic advertising and can help you acquire more users for your game. According to the latest version of AppsFlyer Performance Index, the top ad networks for mobile games are Google, Unity Ads, ironSource, AppLovin, and Apple Search Ads. Try different video ad formats. You shouldn't focus only on standard video ads. For instance, interactive and playable ads have proven to be very successful in attracting high-quality users. In example, those who not only install a game but they stay engaged. It, it makes sense when you think about it. Playable ads allow users to try playing a game. When those users install that game, they already have a good idea of what's going on and how to play it. They are familiar with the basic game mechanics and goals of the game, which makes them more likely to be more engaged right from the start. Also, even if your game has a slow start or some idle element that doesn't attract the most attention, you have a chance to showcase the good and interesting part of your game in a playable ad. In-app purchases are a great idea for a lot of games, but not all. Implemented the right way, an in-app purchases model can result in impressive returns. In-app purchases allow users to pay real money for features or items while playing a mobile game. Depending on the game type, that can be anything from extra lives, coins, weapons, and unlocking levels, even no ads. This option can be introduced at any moment in the game. However, a common practice in mobile gaming is to strategically offer in-app purchases in situations where the player will need assistance. For example, stuck on a level for the 10th time, you can buy your way out. Spending money on in-app purchases provide players with a premium gameplay experience. At the same time, it is an extremely valuable and popular revenue source. When it comes to the numbers, in-app purchases are especially popular among gaming apps. According to the Business of Apps, almost 80% of gaming apps currently monetize via in-app purchases. Sell something unique, piggy banks, battle pass, etc. And also try to create a FOMO. Add time-limited in-app purchases. Progression through a game can be divided into two categories: player and game. Player progression is the player learning the rules and mechanics while developing their skills, like how to move, how to jump. In comparison, game progression refers to the player's characters developing over the game. In example, strategy game campaigns like unlocking new units. Let me continue with the strategy game example. Don't let players build tanks or jets at the beginning of the game. Give them time to develop their player skills and then let them progress in the game progression. And then unlock tanks or jets for them. Don't let them get the whole content at the beginning of the game. As I mentioned earlier, first-time user experience is really important, but we have to make a balance between tutorial and freedom. If we restrict users' freedom too much, this will lead to churn, and of course, we don't want that. Users should do something fun as soon as they launch the game. Imagine a user saw your advertisement on Instagram or any other social media platform, and they finally find an app that looked interesting and they download it. The surest way to ruin their experience upon opening the game is to hit them with an advertisement or force them to register. Try not to show interstitials for at least the first 1 or 2 minutes, and if your game is asking for registration, just add the guest login feature. There are two ways to guide a user through the first session: a guided tour and allowing users to explore. There are clear benefits to each method, and neither is more correct than the other. Complex apps can help to walk user through the harder parts. With genres that have well understood mechanics, the user can often head straight into the gameplay like runners. Regardless of which tutorial style you choose, it is important to track every step in the tutorial. Track every single step in the tutorial and create a funnel to measure the points where users drop off. The majority of people have been found to check the ratings and reviews before they download the game. This makes them a very important aspect of your App Store page and crucial to grabbing the attention of your target audience. Identifying the right time to ask for a user review is the key to being successful. Asking for a review 30 minutes after they have downloaded your game is never going to end well. Give them a chance to warm up and get know benefits of your game. Ideally, you want to prompt your users after they had a positive experience. For example, after they have unlocked a higher level on a game. Moments like this, when you know the user is actively engaging with the app, are most likely to result in them agreeing to leave you a positive review. And checking the ratings is a really good way to identifying the bugs that you or your QA team never experienced. The fail rate of the first level should be zero. We don't want users to think that this is a hard game, and users need to feel that they are good at this game. If the churn rate is higher than 5%, there might be a problem at that level. Try to make it easier or harder according to your data. And the thing that I love the most is A/B tests. Follow the trends, but don't rely on it. Run A/B tests as possible and repeat them in regular basis. Results might be different. And also, don't be afraid to set different time intervals or different game balance for different countries and different platforms. Thank you very much for listening to me. Feel free to ask anything to me from LinkedIn or via mail. And also, if you see me in a local event or global event, please come to me and let's meet.